Yeah, so that was one that we touched on, but I can't say that it was at the top of our conversations. But very much we did hit on it, and that possibility of bringing him over Deanton Lynn across town from UCLA after what he was able to accomplish on the defensive side for the Bruins. Matt, I'll start with you. Your thoughts. I know that you've analyzed this up and down. I guess one direction I would mind hearing is what he accomplished at UCLA that makes you hopeful that he will have success with USC.
He took a defense that was 89th in 2022. You know, UCLA's defense was Swiss cheese 2 seasons ago. Remember that 48-45 USC-UCLA game? It was just a pure video game in Pasadena. So Deanton Lynn comes aboard. He whips those guys into shape, and they have the number 11 total defense. So that's an increase of 78 spots. Pretty darn good. And he did it with an offense which kept that defense on the field more than it should have been. It was an offense that put that defense in a lot of disadvantageous situations. You look at the Utah game, you know, UCLA's offense didn't score until the last 4 minutes. You know, and that's in Salt Lake City against a physical Utah team, but that UCLA defense never truly gave in, allowed just 7 points to the Utes. And there were other games in which the offense was just absolutely abysmal. The Arizona State game, you know, and the offense scored just 7 points, but the defense was able to continue to make stops, limit Arizona State to just 17 points. I mean, there were several other games like that during the season. So, you know, the numbers themselves are good. They are actually better than the numbers indicate because the UCLA offense gave the defense so little help over the course of the season. And I think in terms of the overall hire, you know, the one obvious deficiency is just experience. Like Deanton Lynn doesn't have a lot of experience. He doesn't have a lot of scalps on the recruiting trail. You know, people are asking, well, what has he done in recruiting? Well, he's been a college coach for just 1 year. So, you know, you're not going to collect a whole lot of scores on the trail in one season. So lack of experience, and also, you know, like you're banking on this past year at UCLA, like that is the basis for your hire. And we do know, and we have to admit this, like if you're a skeptic of Deanton Lynn, this is the argument you would make. It's that you're putting all your chips in the middle of the table based on one season. And we've known that this tactic, this view can backfire. Like Michigan State went all in with Mel Tucker based on one season. We've seen so many other programs. They go all in on a coach, whether it's a head coach or a coordinator, based on one season. So if you're making the skeptics case, if you're making the devil's advocate case against Deanton Lynn, that's what you'd say. That's how you would make your argument. But everything else, you know, suggests that this is going to be a good hire. Knows the X's and O's, knows how to teach toughness, knows how to teach tackling. He's young. He's going to have energy on the recruiting trail. He has NFL connections with the Baltimore Ravens. You know, and because he's been at UCLA, he already knows the Southern California high school coaches. He's built up respect with them. He's built street cred with them. So really, he checks every box except that one box, which is experience. And, you know, you're risking it all on one season. But everything else, like, you know, you look at like 6, 7, 8, 9 different categories. It's everything but that one thing, experience. Everything else lines up in favor. I'm sold.
So, Tim, we see the effectiveness of the defense at UCLA under his direction. What, from a stylistic standpoint, was he able to achieve? What does he bring to USC? Does he have a certain style to his defense that he prefers? What's his trademark?
Well, if you're looking at his defense, the one thing you noticed, especially when USC played them, getting a whopping 3 yards rushing, they stifled their run defense was stifling. And granted, USC does not have you know, some of the guys they have on the line and the front seven they had at UCLA, but USC does have talent and they do have players. And you know, today it was the great line was Riley's quote today. He said, "There's one goal in mind, and that's sort of our North Star right now. That's the thing that we're staying focused on right now, building the best defensive staff in America. For me, it's it's getting too caught up into. It's something who we are now, and so that's the idea, is building. I don't think they're done building the staff. It's stylistically, the one thing is that I wouldn't say stylistically, but the one thing that really caught my eye and Matt just talked about is just a quick turnaround. Just the absolute quick turnaround. And what I've been calling for is, I've been talking about, I wanted a guy at a proven record of getting guys into the NFL. Well, he doesn't have that because he's only been there for a year, but he played in the NFL. He's young. He's going to vibe with guys. He doesn't need directions. Like Matt said, he doesn't need directions to Mater Dei and Nebraska. He's from Texas, so he has some roots in Texas as well. Comes highly, highly praised by John Harbaugh in Baltimore. As it again, with the Ravens. So, I mean, you're looking at a coach, a young coach that is missing one thing, and that's experience, just like Matt said.